Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lead Pitch Live. You may be wondering, where are we? We're at the fabulous Naples Botanical Garden. Shout out to them and all the great work that they've done to accommodate Lead Pitch Live here. Of course, once a year we make our pilgrimage here, and they've been a great partner to the television show. We have a fabulous show in store for you right now. Get a chance to talk to Austin and Dan right here. Let's bump you in. From Trinity Commercial Group. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We have Austin here, who's a broker, and Dan, who's the owner of Trinity Commercial Group. We'll start off here with you, Austin. Let's go with Trinity Commercial Group. In a nutshell, how would you describe it?
Trinity Commercial Group, commercial real estate brokerage, a good commercial real estate brokerage, very well known, it's grown. Dan started it, about 12 years ago now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's grown and blossomed. Like you said, you see these signs everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely recommend them for your commercial needs. Dan,
I said I see these signs, and when I see it, you know, the average person, and me being my old banking background, I started noticing that. When people see that sign, what do you want to come to their mind?
That's a great question. I think our hope and our heart behind it was these guys are the pros. We know what we're doing. We're going to protect you. We're going to honor you. We're going to execute on your behalf.
When you see Southwest Florida now, you've been here about 12 years, he said, the company's 12 years. You're primarily based in Southwest Florida, or are you nationwide?
We're definitely not nationwide. This next year we'll open up in a couple states outside of Florida. We're licensed in 5 states, but we've got an office here in Estero, one in Boca, one in Jacksonville, and one in Tampa right now.
Mm-hmm. Austin, what inspired you to go into the real estate brokerage field?
I was driving trucks at first, making decent money, but I got tired of it. I said I want to do something new, so on the weekends I went to school for real estate. And I got my license, and I jumped into residential just to try something new.
Okay.
Yep.
Residential, but now you guys specialize in commercial?
Yeah, he gave me an opportunity to get into commercial.
Okay.
I didn't even know my license would let me be in commercial. I just thought it was just a residential thing. And he gave me the opportunity, I took it.
That's great, Dan. Let's talk residential and commercial for the average person. What's the difference in the two as it relates to real estate?
Well, residential-wise is if it's under, 4 units, or if it's 5 units or better, it's commercial. If it's under that, it's residential.
Mm-hmm. And there are other forms of commercial property that are not residential at all, right?
Right.
Talk about that.
Like shopping plazas, the grocery stores, what we was talking about earlier with the anchors and all that stuff. And then it's land, commercial land. We deal in land a lot. Mm-hmm. So
a lot of people don't think about land, Dan. We see it, we pass by. The next thing you know, we see things coming up out of the land. Talk about that process, how you see the land, you acquire the land, and the next thing you know, we might see some condos coming up or a shopping center, things like that.
Yeah, well, I'm a pastor's kid, so I joke my dad might strike me down for this, but when we look at land, it's like getting to be God a little bit. You start envisioning and seeing the opportunity, and whoever sees it and then takes action gets to kind of envision what goes there. Mm-hmm. So we see a piece of property and we see either a gas station or an apartment complex or an industrial warehouse, and then we try and pair that with the right development partner or right user to go execute on that property. Mm-hmm.
I started off early on, I cut that question short, but right now in Southwest Florida, for what you do, I mean, we read about, Southwest Florida, one of the fastest growing places in the country, population growth, all of that. You're behind the scenes seeing all this. Is it like an effort for you guys who do what you do to keep pace with the growth? And is that a really good thing for people who do what you do at this time in society?
Yeah, well, we try and honor the people that are here, right? There's a lot of people that chose to come here for certain reasons, and we want to protect them and increase the quality while still have the same reason that we all came down here. We want a quality of life. We love the weather. We love the beaches. We love the water. And so we try and make sure that we do responsible growth and kind of pair those things together. Mm-hmm. We're continuing to see companies choose to come and relocate their company from the Midwest or the Northeast to come to Southwest Florida. So we see that continuing to proceed at the pace that it's doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Also, when I see that word broker, sometimes I'll say realtor. but there's a difference between a realtor and a broker. Talk about that difference and the fact that you, African American, I would know this from what I do in life. I've only seen one other African American broker in this area. You probably don't know him. He stayed here for a short period of time. So that's extremely rare. What does that do in terms of the power that you could have as a broker and being a person of color?
Well, back to the first part of the question you were saying about realtor and brokers. I learned when I got out of residential and got into commercial, it's like we don't call ourselves realtors when you're in commercial. It's more a broker wise. So yeah, and that's for me, being the only black or one of the few black brokers in the community. I don't know why. I think it's more of opportunity, because when I was in residential and Dan gave me an opportunity to get in commercial, all of my friends, my black friends in commercial real estate was like, how did you get into commercial real estate? The ones from residential. How did you get into commercial real estate? Could you give me an opportunity? I didn't know it was that difficult. So why is that difficult? I don't know, but it's the reason why I'm the only one probably is because they're not getting the opportunity.
The broker, you're able to do what that a realtor can't do?
Well, I'm able to deal in commercial real estate. Like a residential realtor just does residential. I do commercial. Yeah, and I can't think of too much more, but it's just different. It's just different. Like,
but you can have people up under you too. That's my understanding. As a broker, you can have people up under you.
Definitely, I'm up under Dan, and his thing was to mold me up to be able to bring me somebody under me. So and it's more than likely probably going to be a person of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people seeing you now on television, they're going to be calling you up and trying to see if they can get in there.
Yeah,
but they got to go through that
it.
training process, right?
Yeah, yeah. If they've already been doing it, I mean, when I feel comfortable enough and knowledgeable enough to show them the right way, then I'll make that step.
Dan, you talked about you were a preacher's kid, I think you said. So you have a broad view of society and how opportunities for different people, ethnic groups, all make us a better place to live, work, play, and do business, right? So what impressed you about Austin? And I know off camera you had told me that you used to be a residential guy, and then you got, so you, when he said that, I said, hey, you kind of saw a parallel there?
Yeah, well, there's two elements to it. So Realtors is a brand more than it is an action or ability to execute, right? Licensing for both parties are the same. Brokers are allowed to run an office, realtors work under a broker. As far as the opportunities and how that progression occurs and what the opportunities are for different people, I didn't know what that was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So coming to Southwest Florida and starting to work in the business and then realizing, wow, it looks like a bunch of white dudes in one office doing all the work and no business, and anybody that's outside of that doesn't have an opportunity, doesn't execute. So what caught my attention with Austin was he kept showing up, and he was gritty, and it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot of background, there's a lot of intense scrutiny for people to get licensed, and then to actually show up and put the effort in. I've sponsored 11 people of color towards licensing. Austin's the only one that kept showing up and kept asking and kept engaging. And so we believe in people that work hard and get after it. And Austin's a phenomenal example of somebody who doesn't take no for an answer.
I love that whole philosophy of there's no free lunch out there, Austin. Talk about what gave you that drive. What in your background? I know you were a music mogul, a linguistic, do some comedian work as well. What gave you that drive to just stick it all the way out and now starting to see the other side of the horizon?
Just wanting change and growth in my family. Like my generational wealth is key, but I'm the first person out of my family. I got an older sister, older brother who both passed on, and I was the first one of my mom's kids to graduate high school. I didn't want to go the same way everyone else was going. So I just decided that I wanted more, and I I took heed and I strived for it.
Okay, I'm glad that you did that because I don't remember you, of course, 'cause I taught thousands of kids to swim over the Stars complex, but I'm proud of you. And you might not know this, but a lot of the kids that came out of my program, they're all growing up and they're being successful. And you guys are coming back, and now I'm able to see what happened with that. Talk about the study that you had to do to become a broker. You had to take some tests, right? So you had to commit yourself, right?
I definitely had it. It definitely was a commitment. Like I said, I was driving trucks. I was working. I was doing over 50 plus hours a week, Monday through Friday. And then I said I wasn't gonna have time to do this real estate thing, but I made time. And I went on the weekends. They gave me the option to do the class on the weekends, and I did it in about, it's like 4 weeks, 4 weekends, and then an exam. Once you pass the exam, you're licensed. But I dedicated myself to doing it. I know 50 hours of work on Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I went to school. 8 hours Saturday and Sunday each.
Sounds great. What advice would you give people, Dan, if they're interested in getting into this type of field of work? Is it a growing field and opportunity to build generational wealth like he talked about, just all types of benefits to it?
Yeah, it's a fantastic business. It's certainly growing. As the market grows, we need more professionals in it. So no matter where your background is and what you want to do, if it's something of interest, what Austin did was he kept moving forward. Right? He kept taking the opportunities and making better of himself. He took coaching from me, even while he was doing residential. And that work ethic was huge. So you've got to come in with a work ethic and a reality of, man, this is hard. It's not for everybody. We have more failure in it than we do success. But go after it and make it happen.
From my banking background, I know too that deals take a long time to close and move on. People don't realize, you may start something now and you guys have the benefit of seeing what's going to be happening in the future. I tell people, like I was dealing with that deal 5 years ago and now I'm seeing that develop. People don't realize, they just see it coming out the ground. Talk about that patience that goes along with it as well, and working your way through all the government and the real estate and all the environmental study, all that stuff that goes along with that.
It's a lot.
You have to be patient though, right? But good to have a lot of deals in the pipeline.
Yeah, we are working on between 50 and 100 transactions at any given time because of the failure rate and the time that it takes. And so, the longest deal that I ever did started in 2011 and closed in 2020. And that we started making money a little bit on the front end on the transaction, but that's the corner of 951 in Immokalee.
Okay.
That has turned into a 56-acre spectacular mixed-use project. We had like 65 different site plans.
Right.
It took 2.5 years to zone and approve it. We put together some of the best partners in the business to make that happen. So patience, fortitude, we use the term grit a lot because it's kind of, we were talking about boxing a little bit earlier. It's one of those things that if you don't like getting punched in the face, you probably shouldn't box. If you don't like failure, you probably shouldn't do commercial brokerage.
Right.
Like, it feels like you're going to crush it 1 year and 30 seconds later, the whole deal blows up.
Yeah.
And you're putting it back together and making it happen, working with great bankers and different professionals. There are a lot of people involved in a transaction.
Austin, what's your long-term goal as in this industry? What looking down the road, what do you hope all would take place?
I just hope I maybe one day be able to start my own brokerage and bring in some more people of color. Hopefully that's the end goal. But yes, I want to be able to, for myself, I wanted to be able to own and invest in properties of my own for, like I said, generational wealth, and he's granted me that opportunity already. I made my first commercial real estate investment with him. Yep.
You got something in the pipeline right now when you say your first one?
Yeah, we
What are you working on right now, just in general, so people can understand you out there willing and dealing?
We bought a shopping plaza
Okay.
off of Three Oaks. It's like it used to be an old Winn-Dixie, which is the anchor building, the one that would drive everything in, and then they got outside with like little restaurants, stores, and stuff on the outside. So yeah, it's a nice first investment.
What's going on now? I'm seeing that, and both of you can kind of deal with that. Just out of curiosity, I'm seeing a lot of big shopping center type concepts, not necessarily over here, but when I'm on the east coast of Florida. and they're tearing them down and they're building condos, and it seems like that's the new thing. And also a lot of the golf courses too are turning into development properties for residential, commercial type stuff. Dan, you're shaking your head, so go. That's the new thing now. Residential.
Yeah, I mean, it's been.
It's commercial, but it's residential. Yeah.
It's been the motto for probably the last 5 years of improving properties and opportunities. So whatever one level was, and taking it to the next level. So you have dirt, and then you build on it. And then as a market consolidates or gets more dense, you go to the next level above that in evolution. So you may have a shopping center that's one-dimensional, and the best thing in the market allows for more people in proximity. So you put 300-400 units of apartments on that, and you remove some of the uses that maybe aren't in vogue anymore. A lot of Amazon not proof businesses got to get removed and transition. So they're finding ways to, we call it curating a piece of property, right? Choosing the right uses that bring the highest and best. So whether it's residential with retail, you see probably a ton of industrial stuff, which is where Austin's specialty is now. And executing in that type of thing to say, hey, we facilitate logistics, we facilitate getting all of the Amazon products out to people and moving our businesses into the market.
Is it just me, or am I seeing a lot of storage, Austin? These storage buildings going up?
It's not just you.
I mean, I'm like, there's a combination that brings that about, right? Growth and demand, and these people, I guess these storage companies can bring it to reality. Go.
It's just what makes sense. If you buy a small piece of land and there's not too much you can do on it residentially, it's all about highest and best. So if you can not get 200 units of residential land on this small property, but you can come in with this storage and get this many, and you'll make more money, that's the highest and best use. Okay, that's the thing. I was like, it's really interesting. So I'm not the only one who's riding around like, storage. Great return on investment those storage people getting out of this, just that business.
The thing that I think is appealing to most storage guys is the lack of employees, right? The lack of intensity of development. Communities don't mind it because you don't drive traffic, and it doesn't take many employees to run. A lot of businesses right now are employee heavy, and it's hard to find good people, and it's expensive. But the people that are moving here, in order to find affordability, we're shrinking footprints of where they're living. So that forces us to say our garage isn't for our garage anymore, we're using that for storage. Then we got to figure out where to put our Christmas tree. Where do we go with that? And so that's what's driving the success of those storage facilities.
Who needs to contact Trinity Commercial Group if they're listening to us right now? They might think you can benefit them in some type of way. And what's the best way to connect with Trinity Commercial Group?
Well, Trinity Commercial Group does all 4 categories of the business. Austin specialties in industrial. So if you're a small business owner, you're a builder, you're a contractor, you do some type of service, warehouse, we even execute some categories that cross over. So Ace Pickleball is one of Austin's clients. So we're doing a large 34,000 square foot facility in Fort Myers for them. So anybody that needs big box space or space to store or do their business is really the focus of where our team that Austin is a part of.
Austin, talk about the team concept. I think when we were talking on the phone, you were telling me that there's so many people within the team that you can draw upon for expertise in different areas, right? Yeah, like in our office, it's like we got retail here, we got land team here, and then you got my team, which is industrial. And I mean, it's open. It's not like nobody's in the office in a cubicle. It's all open. So we're hearing everybody's conversations and talking, and maybe I hear something over there that I got something for. Like, hey man, he's looking for this, and just in that's how we keep it in house a lot. You come to us first. Like if one of the retail guys, somebody hears something about a client needs some industrial, they'll send them to us, and vice versa. We have your contact information been appearing on the screen throughout, but go ahead and give that website and a phone number, a basic phone number people can call. Well, the website is Trinity Commercial Group, and you can just call my cell, 239-210-8547. I like that personal touch. That's on my business card. And your cell, Dan?
239-293-4544.
It's all out there, gentlemen. Well, it's been a pleasure having you both on the show. Looking forward to getting you back in the future, keeping us up to date on a lot of things that's happening in the community as it relates to development. How about that?
Thank you very much, Lee. Really
bumped you out.
appreciate
It was a lot of fun. Stay right there. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they are usually interrupted by those like the fine people at Trinity Commercial Group. And remember, Miami might have the oranges, but Trinity Commercial Group has got the
juice.
They got the juice. We'll be right back.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello, everybody. This is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show. And if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime. And also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.